Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. Love is not loud. Loving is not always dressed up in flowers or fireworks. Never give up. Real love is quiet, it's consistent, it's present, and you can feel it long before you ever hear it. He loves you if he does this without you asking. See, a man who really loves you, never give up. He doesn't wait for you to break down before he shows up. He doesn't need a reminder to call, so never give up. Doesn't need a calendar alert to check on your heart, because loving you is not his chore. It's his choice. When a man loves you, he pays attention, not just to your words, but to your silence. He knows when your voice is strong, and he knows when your soul is tired. He hears what you don't say, and he moves without being told, without being begged. He just moves. You don't have to write it out for him. You don't need to rehearse your needs in the mirror, because he's been studying you quietly, carefully. Never give up. He's tuned into you like a melody he doesn't want to forget. That man, he shows up for your dreams like they're his own. He cheers for you in rooms where you're not even present. He pushes to grow, to rise, to shine, even if your shine outshines his, because real love isn't threatened by your light. It feeds it. He protects you, not just with his hands, but with his heart, with his choices, with his loyalty, and he does it when no one's looking, because love is not performance. It's integrity, so never give up. It's what he does when it's hard. It's what he does when it's inconvenient. So if you're asking, how do I know if he loves me? Ask yourself this: what does he do without you having to ask? Because love doesn't wait for instructions. Love acts. Love shows up. Love doesn't ask for permission to care. It just cares. That's the difference. That's the truth. Never give up, and you deserve nothing less than that. It's not something he announces. It's not a show. There's no grandstanding or dramatic gestures for attention. It's instinct. It's wired into his spirit, deep down where his real character lies. When a man loves you, truly loves you, his first response isn't to impress you, it's to shield you from harm, from stress, from anything that could disturb your peace. He does it without being asked, because he doesn't wait for you to fall apart to care. He sees the weight on your shoulders, and without a word, he begins to lift it, quietly, steadily. Out of love, not obligation, he watches how the world treats you. He listens to the way people speak to you. Never give up. If someone disrespects you, you'll notice a change in his posture, in the subtle tightening of his jaw. So never give up in the firm look that replaces his smile, not because he's trying to be dominant or overprotective, but because something in his spirit rises up, not on some Mako nonsense, but out of love, out of a sense of duty. Not the kind of duty someone taught him, but the kind that grew inside him the moment he realized you mattered more than anything else. He doesn't just protect you from others, he protects you from himself, from his moods, from his darker days, from the parts of him that used to lash out or shut down. When a man loves you, he learns restraint. He studies his own temper, his flaws, his triggers. He works on himself not because you told him to, but because to be a safe place for you. Never give up. He wants to be a man you don't have to flinch around or walk on eggshells with. He doesn't let his bad day become your burden. So never give up. He doesn't let his stress turn into your fear. He protects you by mastering himself. He's present when you're vulnerable. Give up. He sees the tears behind your smile. He notices when your energy is different, even if your words sound the same. And instead of demanding an explanation, instead of asking you to spell it out, he moves gently. He gives you space without giving you distance. He stays close enough so you don't feel alone. So never give up, but soft enough so you don't feel pressured. That's protection. That's love without demands. That's someone who understands that sometimes your heart speaks quieter than your mouth does. So no give up. He protects your name when you're not in the room. He doesn't allow disrespect in private conversations. He doesn't laugh along with people who belittle you. He doesn't stay silent when someone throws shade. No, he speaks up to give up, not because he wants a medal for being loyal, but because love covers, love defends, love refuses to let anything, even a whisper, stain your reputation. He knows that real protection happens when you're not looking, when you don't see it, when no one is watching. That's when his true loyalty shines the brightest. He shields your dreams from discouragement. When you talk about something you're passionate about, even if it seems wild, even if it sounds like a long shot, he doesn't roll his eyes or point out all the reasons it might fail. He listens. He leans in. He believes in it because he believes in you. He doesn't let doubt creep into your vision. He becomes your safe haven, the voice that says, go for it. When the rest of the world is shouting, be realistic. That's protection too. The kind that nurtures your future. He guards your peace. He doesn't bring drama to your doorstep. He doesn't disappear and reappear with chaos trailing behind him. He doesn't make you guess where he stands, what he feels, or who he is. He brings clarity. He brings steadiness. He brings an atmosphere where you can breathe easy, where you don't have to perform, where your nervous system can finally relax. So never give up. He gives you the kind of peace that's so rare, you don't even realize how much you needed it until you feel it. So never give up. He protects your heart by telling the truth. Even when it's hard, even when it's uncomfortable. He doesn't feed you sweet lies to keep the peace. He doesn't say what you want to hear just to avoid conflict. He's honest even when it costs him something, because he knows that trust is the foundation of emotional safety, and without it, everything crumbles. So never give up. His truth isn't cold. It's not cruel. It's wrapped in care, delivered with respect. Give up. He speaks with integrity because he knows your heart deserves nothing less. He shields you from unnecessary worry. He doesn't leave you guessing about where he is, who he's with, or what his intentions are. He communicates because he values your peace of mind. He checks in not because you asked him to, but because he wants you to know you matter. He's accountable, consistent, and grounded. His presence is not something you have to chase. He makes sure you never have to doubt the depth of his care or the sincerity of his love. He protects you from loneliness, even when you're in the same room. He doesn't let silence become distance. He doesn't let routine become neglect. So never give up. He looks for the small things, the changes in your eyes, the tone in your voice, the size you try to hide. And he leans in. So never give up. He doesn't let emotional gaps grow unnoticed. He bridges them not with grand speeches, but with steady presence, with late night talks. So never give up, with shared laughter, with simply being there fully when you need someone to lean on. He protects your softness. The parts of you that the world tried to harden, he doesn't take advantage of your vulnerability. He doesn't weaponize your emotions. He creates a space where your softness is seen as strength, not weakness. He honors it. He protects it. He lets you be fully woman. So never give up fully feeling without shame or correction. He doesn't try to fix you when you cry. He just holds space for you to feel. Never give up. That's a love that covers, not controls. He safeguards your boundaries. He doesn't push past your no. Give up. He doesn't guilt trip you into a yes. He listens when you say you need time, when you say you need space, when you say something doesn't feel right. And instead of pushing back, he respects it. He adjusts. He honors your limits. So never give up, because he understands that real love makes room. Real love doesn't press, it protects. So never give up. This kind of protection doesn't come with loud words or flashy gestures. It's in the daily consistency, in the small things, in how he opens doors. Not just literally, but emotionally, in how he watches your back, not just in public, but in prayer, in how he guards your soul by first guarding his own. It's not something you ask for. It's something he gives freely, because he sees your value before the world ever does. Because when a man loves you, protection isn't optional. It's instinct. It's built into the way he moves, the way he stays. It's love without words, proven in action. It's in his eyes first, the way they settle on you. Not distracted, not drifting, not halfway somewhere else, but right there, locked in, present. When you speak, he doesn't just hear your words. He leans in, not always physically, but emotionally. He gives you space to breathe between your sentences. He doesn't rush to fill the silence. He doesn't wait for a pause so he can jump in with his opinion. He allows you to unfold. He listens not just to what you're saying, but to what you're trying to say, to what you feel behind the words. He listens to the pace of your voice, to the energy in your tone, to the story behind your sighs. Because when a man truly loves you, he listens with his whole soul. This kind of listening is rare. It's not passive. It's not the nodding along kind. So never give up. It's not the kind where someone already has their rebuttal prepared before you finished your sentence. It's not waiting for his turn to talk. It's not a performance to appear engaged. It's real. It's intentional. And it's rooted in love, because he's not trying to win an argument or prove a point. He's trying to know you, to understand where you're coming from. Never give up what you carry and how it affects you. That's what makes the difference. He listens because he cares, not because he's obligated to respond. When you tell him about your day, no matter how ordinary it might seem, he doesn't brush it off. He doesn't tune out. You could talk about your coworker, your family, the small frustrations of your week, and he's right there, engaged, remembering the names, the moments, the details, because to him, your world matters. If it matters to you, it matters to him. So never give up. You'll notice he brings up things you mentioned days ago, little things you thought he forgot, but he didn't, because he wasn't just hearing you. He was absorbing you. He was learning you. Never give up. And when you talk about pain, he doesn't try to minimize it. He doesn't say, it's not that bad, or you're overreacting. He doesn't throw solutions at you the moment you open up. No, he lets your feelings have room. He lets your experience be valid. He doesn't try to fix you, because he understands that sometimes you don't need fixing. You need witnessing. You need to be seen. You need someone to sit in the dark with you before turning on the light. So never give up He understands that pain doesn't always want advice, it wants presence. And he offers it. He's not afraid of your emotions. He doesn't flinch when you cry. He doesn't roll his eyes when you get passionate or raise your voice out of frustration. He doesn't shut down or walk away. He stays, he steadies himself because he knows listening isn't always easy. Sometimes your truth makes him uncomfortable. Sometimes it challenges his own beliefs. But he doesn't run. He listens anyway because love doesn't filter for comfort. It shows up even when the conversation is hard. Especially then, there's a kind of safety that grows in a love like this. When you know you can speak without being cut off. When you know your feelings won't be labeled as too much. When you know you won't be judged or misunderstood. You begin to open up more. You begin to reveal deeper parts of yourself. And that's when intimacy grows. Not from touch, not from time, but from understanding. And he knows this. That's why he listens the way he does. Because he's building a bridge, not a wall. He listens even when he disagrees. He doesn't interrupt. He doesn't raise his voice to overpower yours. He waits. He asks questions. He reflects your thoughts back to you just to make sure he's seeing it from your side. That's emotional maturity. That's humility. That's love in its highest form. He doesn't have to agree to understand. He doesn't have to fix to support. He honors your voice. And in doing so, he teaches you that your voice matters, that your experiences are worth hearing. And he listens outside of conversation too. He notices when you're tired, even if you say you're fine. He picks up on the way you move when something's bothering you, the way you get quiet, the way your smile changes when something's off. He doesn't force you to talk, but he lets you know he's there. He listens with his eyes, his heart, his intuition, because love listens long before words are spoken. He remembers things that matter to you, your favorite song, the way you like your tea, the story you told once about your childhood that you thought he'd forget. But he doesn't, because he's storing pieces of you and treating them like treasure. Every time you speak, he learns a little more. Not because he's trying to use the knowledge later, but because he wants to be close to the real you, the whole you. And even in conflict, he listens differently. He doesn't weaponize your words. He doesn't twist what you said to win a point. He hears your fear underneath the frustration. He hears your longing beneath the anger. And because he listens that way, he responds with care, not combat. He speaks with clarity, not chaos. Because he's not fighting you. He's fighting for understanding. He's fighting with you, not against you. And that kind of listening, patient, present, intentional, is what keeps love alive. You'll notice something else too. When you're done speaking, he doesn't immediately jump in with advice or his own story. He lets your words land. He sits with them. Sometimes he'll pause before responding, not because he doesn't know what to say, but because he's still processing what you said, because he wants to get it right. Not perfect, but real. Not clever, but compassionate. And when he does speak, his words are shaped by your truth. He's not responding just to be heard. He's responding to build a deeper connection, to offer reassurance or empathy or perspective, but never to drown out your voice. He doesn't make the conversation about him. He makes space for you. And in that space, trust grows. Love deepens. Hearts align. This kind of man, this kind of love, it's not common. But when you experience it, you'll never settle for anything less. So never give up, because you'll realize that love is not just about who shows up, but how they show up. And a man who listens to understand, never give up, not just to reply, is showing you the truest form of presence. One that doesn't demand attention, but gives it freely. One that doesn't seek to dominate, but to connect. One that holds your heart with both hands and says, speak, I'm here. I'm listening, not to react, but to know you. Not just when it's convenient, not only when the sun is shining and everything feels light and easy. He shows up in the mess, in the middle of chaos, in the silence between words. He shows up on the days when you're quiet and the days when you don't feel lovable. He shows up when your walls are up, when you're distant, when you're unsure of yourself. And he doesn't just knock and wait for the door to open. He stays at the threshold. He waits patiently, not because he's trying to fix you, because he understands that real love doesn't disappear when things get uncomfortable. Real love stays. Consistency is often underrated. People talk about passion, chemistry, fireworks, but those things come and go. What really matters, what really builds trust and safety, is someone who shows up over and over again, someone whose presence becomes so reliable it starts to feel like air, necessary, constant, strong. He shows up because that's who he is, not because you demand it. He shows up because he's committed, not just interested, because interest fades when the feelings get hard. But commitment endures. He doesn't make excuses. He doesn't keep you guessing. You don't have to wonder whether he'll show. You don't have to reread your messages, second guess his silence, or track his patterns. He's steady. He's clear. He communicates, not perfectly, but with intention. He lets you know where he stands, not just through promises, but through patterns, through repetition, through effort. That kind of consistency isn't glamorous. It doesn't scream. It doesn't post itself all over social media, but it is real. And it is rare. He shows up when you need support, not just when it makes him look good. If you're sick, he checks in. If you're overwhelmed, so never give up. He makes space for your rest. If life falls apart, he's already there holding the pieces with you. So never give up. He doesn't vanish when you become a version of yourself that you're still learning to love. He doesn't need the spotlight to stay close. He shows up quietly, faithfully, not with grand speeches, but with small daily actions that say, I'm here. When things get hard, he doesn't disappear. When misunderstandings happen, he doesn't run for the door. He stays, he talks, he listens, he works through it. So never give up, because he's not just there for the good parts of the relationship. He's there for all of it. He understands that love isn't about perfection, it's about presence. And presence requires consistency, not in bursts, not in highlights, but day after day in the ordinary rhythms of life. He's there when no one else is. When the crowd thins, when the fake friends fade, when people stop clapping, he's still there. Holding your hand, asking how you're doing, reminding you of who you are when you forget. That's when his love shines the brightest, when things aren't beautiful or easy, when you're tired, when you're doubting, when you feel alone. His love isn't seasonal. It doesn't shift with your mood or change with the circumstances. It's rooted, deep, steady. And he's not perfect. He makes mistakes, But even when he falls short, he shows up to fix it, to take responsibility, to repair the damage. He doesn't avoid accountability. He leans into it, because showing up isn't just about being physically present. It's about being emotionally mature. It's about owning your part. It's about returning even when it's uncomfortable, even when he's wrong, even when it would be easier to walk away. He shows up for your milestones, yes, but more than that, he shows up for your Mondays, your early mornings, your hard weeks. He's not only around for the celebrations, he's there for the routine, the ordinary, the unseen. He celebrates your wins, of course, but he also walks with you through your failures, not as a critic, but as a companion, not trying to fix you, but simply to remind you that you're not alone. He checks in, not out of habit, but out of care. He notices when something's off. He remembers the details, the little things you told him that mattered. He circles back to them. He follows up. Because to him, so never give up. You're not an afterthought. You're not just a box to check. You're someone he's invested in, someone he wants to know deeply. And that requires attention. It requires consistency. It requires him showing up even when he's tired, even when he's busy. He never give up, even when life pulls him in different directions. Consistency doesn't mean he's always available. So never give up. It means he always makes a way to show you that he values you. It's in the text he sends to say he's thinking of you. It's in the way he carves time out of his schedule because you matter. It's in the way he prioritizes communication, even when he doesn't have all the answers. It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. And in the moments when you push him away, when fear gets the best of you, when you're struggling to trust, he doesn't punish you. He doesn't make you beg for attention. He doesn't make you feel like a burden. He keeps showing up gently, consistently. Never give up, reminding you that love doesn't leave when things get tough. That real love holds on even when your grip loosens. When never give up, when you don't feel beautiful, when life has worn you down, when your confidence is shaky. He doesn't drift. He anchors himself to you even more. He reminds you of your worth, not with hollow compliments, but with presence, with patience. So never give up, with small gestures that say, I still see you. I still choose you. I'm still here. He doesn't use silence as a weapon. He doesn't disappear to prove a point. He doesn't withhold love to manipulate. He's consistent in the way he speaks, the way he cares, the way he loves. You can count on him, not just to be physically present, but emotionally reliable, spiritually connected, mentally attentive. And when he says he's going to do something, he does it. He follows through. You don't have to chase him down or remind him repeatedly. He keeps his word, because consistency also means being dependable. It means he's the kind of man who doesn't just promise, he delivers. Not always perfectly, not without struggle, but with effort, with heart, with honesty. That consistency builds something sacred between you, a foundation, a trust, a rhythm, the kind that makes you feel safe enough to rest, to open, to grow. You stop wondering if he'll leave when things get real. You stop questioning his intentions, because his actions speak louder than anything he could ever say. He's not trying to impress you with big moments. He's impressing you with his reliability, his steadiness, his commitment. He shows up not once, not sometimes, but over and over, small, in big ways. In quiet moments and loud ones, he shows up not to be seen, but to see you. Not to prove anything, but to be something, a constant, a calm, a covering, a presence you can lean on, trust, and never question. He shows up because real love does, every single time. It starts in the way he looks at you when you talk about him, the dreams you've carried in your heart for years, the ones you whisper out loud because they still feel fragile, the ones that scare you and excite you all at once. He doesn't dismiss them. He doesn't make jokes to lighten the weight of your words. He listens with presence and purpose. He pays attention not because he's trying to be polite, but because he genuinely wants to understand what moves you, what keeps you up at night, what sets your soul on fire. To him, your dreams aren't just far off ideas. They're an essential part of who you are, and loving you means loving them too. He supports your dreams not by taking control of them, not by stepping in and trying to lead the way, but by making sure you never walk the road alone. He reminds you that you're not crazy for wanting more, for reaching high, for believing you're meant for something bigger. Even when your voice shakes, even when you doubt yourself, give up, even when your dream is just a seed barely pushing through the soil, he sees the potential. He sees the future in your eyes and believes in it before the world does. His belief in you isn't conditional, so never give up. It's not based on results or milestones. It's rooted in who you are. And he's not threatened by your ambition. He doesn't feel small when you think big. He doesn't shrink your vision to make himself feel comfortable. He makes room for it. Never give up. He understands that your success isn't a threat to his masculinity. It's a reflection of your power. And he celebrates that. He give up. He wants to see you rise. He wants to see you win. He knows that real partnership doesn't compete. It collaborates. It doesn't get jealous. It gets inspired. He doesn't just stand beside you. He pushes you forward when you need momentum. And never give up, and he holds your hand when the path gets lonely. When you share your goals, no matter how ambitious or unconventional, they don't intimidate him. He doesn't ask you to be smaller so that the relationship can feel safe. Instead, he builds with you. If you need time to work on your craft, he gives you space. If you need encouragement, he gives you words. If you need help, he gives you action. He doesn't just say he believes in you. He shows it over and over, not in grand gestures, but in everyday choices. You never give up in the way he honors your time, in the way he makes sacrifices so you can have room to grow, in the way he reminds you of your why when you forget,